Hey everybody, welcome to What the Flicks Countdown to Christmas. Ben Mankiewicz, Alonso, Duralde. We're here every day until Christmas talking about 25 of my favorite holiday movies, many of which are featured in my book, Have Yourself a Movie Little Christmas, now available from Amazon. I am very excited to hear what Ben Mankiewicz has to say about this film. It's Mexico's 1959 Santa Claus.
Mostly I just like how you say it.
Come face to face with the devil himself, a mischievous demon determined to mess things up as much as he can.
It's yours. Nobody saw you take it, Lupita. They have more and they won't miss it. What does one little doll matter, don't you see?
Leave it to that devilish trickster to sidetrack Santa up a tree. Watch the jolly hijinks of Santa Claus as he decides to fight fire with fire.
Oh ho, a cannon. Ouch! Oh, oh.
Santa Claus es muy loco. Yeah, so having just in the past few days seen The Disaster Artist, sort of about the making of The Room, a movie I didn't know about, or everyone else who knows movies in LA knew about this, but somehow The Room escaped my radar. So, and I loved The Disaster Artist with John Franco. This is so now I've learned now about two completely insane movies in the last few days. Santa Claus is crazy from start to finish, and knowing and you're 3 minutes in and you realize why Mystery Science Theater 3000 chose to skewer this.
And that was my way into this one.
That was your entry
into
into
this?
this?
I had never heard of it before, and then they did it, and it blew my mind. And in going back to do the research, I found out like a lot of people, if you grew up in the Southwest, like in the 60s, and even into the 70s, you very likely saw this at a kiddie matinee. And if you grew up in a Spanish-speaking Latin American country, it plays on TV a lot.
Yeah, so the version that I saw, and I'm sure that you eventually saw, it's dubbed,
uncut, and
dubbed, right? Well, you could have, because you speak
Spanish. There's two versions floating around, but there's, obviously MST always trims movies down to fit into their time slot. So if you watch the full uncut, like sort of the director's cut, there's a lot more. Like, did you see like Vulcan?
Yeah, I saw a 95-minute version.
Okay,
you've
seen the whole thing.
Yeah,
Cool.
I saw the whole thing. Yeah, I watched a making of on the DVD you gave me afterwards, and I guess some stuff was cut because I thought it was a little scary.
Yes.
For kids.
Yeah, some of the devil stuff.
Right.
So yeah, this movie is kind of bananas. It is from the director of Wrestling Women versus the Aztec Mummy, and it is. This odd confluence of like Santa Claus and Catholic imagery and other mythology. Like Merlin works with Santa to make like the powder that makes him disappear, or the powder that makes people fall asleep, the flower that makes him disappear. Vulcan from Roman mythology, or one of those, makes the key that opens every door. And the devil has sent one of his minions named Pitch to Earth to get in Santa Claus's way. Meanwhile, a poor girl named Lupita really wants a doll. I have to say, I've kind of come around the corner on this movie. When I wrote about it in the book, I put it in the bad movie chapter, and it is loony. But I go back and revisit this movie every year, and not the MST episode, like the actual movie, and I'm starting to sort of embrace it as like baby's first Buñuel.
Well, it made money. I mean, people went to see it. Kids like it.
Oh yeah.
So it works on the beginning. It's so part of the problem with it, I think, if there is a problem with it, is that it has like the longest introduction.
Yeah.
It is about, you got Santa on his planet, and then he says, essentially all the kids those are the kids who are working for him, right?
And instead of elves, it's children.
It's children, and it's like, right, so they're violating all sorts of labor laws. But I mean, it's these sometimes not hideous stereotypes, but strong.
There's some embarrassing ones.
There's some embarrassing stereotypes, and it's kids. And you keep thinking, okay, we're done. And nope, there's
it's like this suddenly this musical medley of like tunes from around the world, and so it's like there's a Mexican song, and there's an American song, and there's a
French
African
song, and a
France,
German song,
and
even a Russian song.
It just goes on forever, you know. And then we finally get into the movie proper, and I have to say this: the director is very smart about understanding that he has a limited budget, and so he uses he very creatively works his way around a lot of the what would have been the pricier Santa stuff. So instead of living reindeer, Santa has wind-up toy reindeer.
Right.
Instead of living on the North Pole, Santa lives on in the clouds on his own planet. So to avoid having to deal with the stuff that would have been pricey.
And it works. The reindeer stuff really works because you could easily have had that. I imagine there was some discussion about, well, we'll just pretend these are real reindeer. Whatever, it'll look stupid, but it's not the only thing that's going to look stupid in this movie. But no, then you sort of explain it away that they're
wind-up toys.
They're wind-up toys
with a creepy laugh when you wind them up.
But there's a lot. It's not just their laugh. There's a tremendous amount of creepy laugh. At the beginning, he starts laughing at something. I can't even remember. Right at the beginning, I think before he introduces all the kids from around the world, and he starts laughing, and I thought, oh, Santa's like a
murderer.
Right. Santa's these kids are unsafe around Santa. And then no, but he just and then there's some laugh track in the background sometimes. You're supposed to hear Santa's laughing, or Pitch hears it, and it just sounds super creepy. There's a lot of and it goes on too long. There's no ho 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 ho. There's ho 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 ho. Ho, 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 ho. You're like, okay, I got to stop, please, for the love of God. Yeah.
And then there's also the weird sort of security room where there's a big eye that can look at the earth, and then this mouth in the wall that tells them what people are saying.
On the DVD, that the kids who saw this movie when they were young, they were like, yeah, that he could look at. Could he see you do everything? Was he always watching you? Because that's what it suggested, is that Santa can always see what you're doing. I like that he had he'd read the letters, and then he'd put the letter in the verdad, right? Or the what is it? Mentira, right? And then there was one for a stork, a whole thing for right. You're telling the truth. You'll get your present. You won't. You're a liar. You're getting a baby brother.
Well, no, so when he would ask for a baby brother, it would go, and it would go to France.
Yeah, but it was just strange that had its own. It was just
its own category.
That was just only three possibilities.
Well, he's like, yeah, not my department.
Right. Yeah.
I don't do.
He farmed that out.
Not my thing. That's been subcontracted.
I thought that the Lupita was the little.
She's amazing.
She's terrific, and her mom was quite good too.
Yes.
They're in a different movie.
Oh, totally. You could have a whole novella called Lupita's Mom.
Totally. Yeah.
Because it's this poor family, and the Lupita just wants the doll. That's the only thing that she wants, and the mother is trying to say kind and reassuring things,
but she knows I can't afford a doll, and we don't have enough money.
Yeah, and trying not to dispel the kids' belief in Santa Claus, but also not encouraging it in any way, because she knows that Christmas morning's going to roll around and there's going to be disappointment, and it's just the anguish on her face, And then you've got these three bad kids who want to capture Santa and enslave him
because they've been corrupted by
Pitch. Yes,
and then Pitch, it turns out, can be felled with water. That's it.
Yeah, Pitch is not much of a demon. Although he has one big last stand that's pretty amazing, where he manages to wake up an entire family and convince them that there's a fire or there's a burglar outside, and Santa's stuck in a tree with a dog barking at him, and it's okay, that's you're not completely useless.
No, but being able to be sort of felled by a fire hose, I thought was.
That's kind of a weak.
The devil didn't send his best guy.
And the Cocktail of Remembrance.
What was the Cocktail of Remembrance?
There's a whole complicated thing where there's this rich boy who writes to Santa and says, yes, you give me all these toys, but I really want to spend time with my parents, and his parents are socialites and they're out hobnobbing. So they're in this restaurant, and you see this gloved hand offer them the Cocktail of Remembrance to remember who is most dear to them.
It's smoking, and if you're in love, it'll
remind you.
It'll remind you. If you're not in love, it'll
burn.
It'll burn your mouth like acid. And you'll spend Christmas in the ER. And then they have a sip, and they're like, "We have a son."
Oh yeah, right.
We have a son. It's
What's
Christmas.
His name?
Let's go home and hang out with Billy.
Yeah. I don't think they need to sip it. I think just the threat of the cocktail reminds them, or whatever. But yeah,
they sip it. They sip it.
Do they sip it?
Okay. They drink it. Yeah. And then they're like, "Hey, they take a sip together, and they kiss,
and they're
like, "Where'd the waiter go?" Yeah.
This movie it's bonkers, but it is not. I'm gonna say it's not a bad movie. It is it's just loony.
It's mockable. Right.
Sure. Yeah.
I mean, like just whenever Pitch is like close to a kid, I mean, it's like you want to call Department of Family Services right away because his eyes are darting and he's like, or you could go steal the doll right now.
and that guy is a very accomplished physical actor.
He's a dancer. He's a dancer. Yeah.
A lot of dancing, a lot of hopping over couches and whatnot, and it's nutty. But if you've only seen the Mystery Science Theater version, which is very funny. Go track down like the Blu-ray and really, you won't believe how good this movie looks because they were showing kind of a crappy old like public domain print on MST. But the full movie has even more nuttiness in it. Like there's a whole demon dance number that I don't even think is in the MST version.
It's a kind of movie. It's the kind of old movie, Christmas movie that I would consider showing my daughter. She'd.
Please do.
Yeah, it strikes me that she'd love that.
That totally works. So yeah, Santa Claus 1959. If you have never seen it, you are missing out. Join us again. Merry Christmas.